Working at height, it's a daily reality for millions of us. But let's be clear, this isn't just about checking boxes in a safety manual. It's really about mastering a skill that can literally be the difference between a totally normal day on the job and a life-changing accident. So let's break down how to stay safe when the ground is no longer right under your feet.
So let's just start with the biggest question of them all. When you're on any work site with all the heavy machinery, all the tools, all the moving parts, what is the single biggest danger you're going to face?
The answer? Well, it's brutally simple. Falls. They are, without a doubt, the #1 killer on work sites. And the stakes here? They couldn't be higher. A single slip isn't just a minor mistake, it can be a life-altering or even life-ending event. That is exactly why getting this right is completely non-negotiable.
All right, so to really deal with this danger, we first have to agree on what we're talking about. Let's get a crystal clear understanding of what work at height actually means and, where that risk zone really begins.
The official definition sounds pretty straightforward, right? It's any activity where a person could fall and get hurt. But just think for a second about what that really covers. We're not just talking about being 20 stories up on a skyscraper. We're talking about climbing a simple ladder, working on a scaffold, or even just being near an open edge on a low roof. Bottom line, if there's a chance you could fall, you are working at height. Period.
And the danger isn't just about you losing your footing. Oh no, the hazards come from literally everywhere. They can come from above, like falling objects. They can come from below you, like an unstable surface or a scaffold that just gives way. And honestly, they can come from within, from not having the right training or just using equipment the wrong way. Every single one of these is a link in a potential chain of disaster.
And if we ignore these things, the consequences ripple out way beyond one person. Of course, it starts with the devastating human cost, but it also leads to massive legal fines, a company's reputation being totally destroyed, and productivity grinding to a complete halt. This is why we have to stop seeing safety as an expense and start seeing it for what it is, the single most important investment anyone can make.
So how do we defend against all these risks? Well, the answer isn't something you figure out when you're already in the air. It starts way before anyone even thinks about leaving the ground. It all starts with a plan.
Seriously, forget about the harness for a second. Forget the helmet. The single most important piece of safety equipment you have is a really well thought out plan. A solid strategy that's developed right there on the ground is what truly prevents accidents up in the air. And this process isn't some big secret. It's a clear 4-step loop. First, you identify every single possible hazard. Second, you figure out the actual risk, like how likely is this to happen and how bad will it be if it does. Third, you create a detailed plan to control those risks. And finally, and this is a big one, you plan for failure. If something does go wrong, what's the emergency rescue plan? Those 4 steps, they are the foundation of every safe job.
Okay, so with a solid plan locked in, now we can talk about the physical tools and the systems that are going to protect you. These are your active lines of defense when you're up high.
I want you to think of your personal protective equipment, your PPE, as your own personal suit of armor. And it's a whole system. The harness is there to distribute force, the helmet protects you from impacts, and the right footwear keeps you from slipping. Every single piece has a specific job, and when they work together, they form this critical barrier between you and a serious injury. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial to understand. There are 2 different philosophies at play here. You've got fall prevention, think guardrails or barriers. That's proactive. It's a physical barrier that stops you from falling in the first place. Then you have fall arrest. Think a harness and lanyard. That's reactive. It's designed to safely catch you after a fall has already started. A truly safe site doesn't just pick one, it uses both.
Let's talk for a second about one of the most common tools out there, the ladder. The golden rule here is so simple, but it's a lifesaver. It's the 3-point rule. All it means is that you always have either 2 hands and 1 foot or 2 feet and 1 hand touching the ladder at all times. Always. This simple discipline creates a stable connection and just dramatically cuts down the risk of a slip.
So we've planned, we've geared up, but we always have to be prepared for the what if. What if the worst happens? A clear, well-rehearsed emergency response plan is what turns panic into a decisive, life-saving process.
When a fall actually happens, every single second counts. The response has to be automatic. Step 1, you activate that rescue plan. No hesitation. Step 2, get first aid started immediately while someone else calls emergency services. Step 3, safely evacuate the worker from the hazard. And finally, step 4, preserve the scene. Don't touch a thing. That scene holds all the clues to preventing the next accident.
And this part right here is so important. Every single incident has to be reported. And I'm not just talking about the falls, I'm talking about the near misses too. A dropped tool, a moment where you lost your balance, those aren't just lucky breaks. They are warnings. They are basically free lessons in how to prevent a future tragedy, and we absolutely have to listen to them.
So this all brings us to our final and honestly our most important section. Because all the rules, all the plans, and all the gear in the world are only effective when they're part of a bigger, shared mindset. We're talking about building a true culture of safety.
You see, a strong safety culture is never done. It's a living, breathing process. It works on this continuous loop. You assess how you're doing things now, you plan for improvements, you implement those changes, you evaluate if they're actually working, and then you adjust based on what you learned. It's a constant cycle of just getting smarter and safer.
So what does that actually look like on the job? Well, it's when leadership lives and breathes safety, not just talks about it. It's when communication is open and workers feel like they can speak up without any fear. It's when making safe choices is actually celebrated. And really, it's a shared belief from the newest person on the job all the way up to the CEO that every single accident is preventable.
So we'll leave you with this thought. After all the planning, all the gear, all the procedures, it really all comes down to one question. What is the most important safety check you'll make tomorrow? And the answer, of course, is the one you make for yourself. Because the best equipment in the world is useless without the right mindset to use it correctly. Stay vigilant, and please stay safe out there.